Right then, Blades Army, if you thought the last few weeks at Bramall Lane were intense, if you believe that the chaos surrounding our beloved Sheffield United couldn't possibly get any worse, then brace yourselves, because what I'm about to reveal will absolutely shatter everything you thought you knew about our current situation. 3 completely different situations have emerged in the last 12 hours that aren't just changing the narrative around our club, they're revolutionizing everything we understand about where Sheffield United stands in September 2025. When was the last time you felt genuinely optimistic about where our club was heading? When did you last watch a Sheffield United match and think, yes, this is the direction we want to be going? Because what I'm about to share with you over the next 35 minutes will challenge everything from our historic position in the championship table to the very foundation of Chris Wilder's emotional return home, and even our understanding of what it means to be a Blade in these unprecedented times. If you're a true Blade and you want to understand exactly what's happening behind the scenes at our club right now, if you want the complete, unfiltered truth about our current crisis and the potential paths forward, smash that like button immediately, because these 3 stories I'm about to reveal will define not just our next 6 months, but possibly our entire future in the championship and beyond. We've got a crisis that's making history for all the wrong reasons, and I mean genuinely historic. The kind of record that gets mentioned in football history books for decades to come. We've got a harsh reality check about our beloved Gaffer's limitations, something that even the most devoted Wilder supporters need to acknowledge. And we've got a painful reminder of what we've lost in terms of player quality, but also, and this is crucial, what we desperately need to regain if we're going to climb out of this hole. The Red and White Army deserves the complete truth, not sugar-coated optimism or blind faith, but the raw, honest analysis of where we stand and what needs to happen next. That's exactly what you're getting today, because I believe that understanding our problems is the first step towards solving them. But here's what I want you to understand before we dive deep into these 3 revelations. This isn't just about doom and gloom. Yes, we're going to confront some uncomfortable truths about our current state. Yes, we're going to acknowledge just how far we've fallen from the heights of that incredible championship IP campaign that had us dreaming of Premier League football. But we're also going to find the seeds of hope, the pathways to recovery, and the reasons why Sheffield United can and will emerge from this crisis stronger than before. Are you prepared for revelations that might shake your faith in this season, but also give you the tactical knowledge and emotional understanding you need to support this team through its darkest period? Are you ready to see beyond the surface level disappointment and understand the deeper currents that are shaping our club's destiny? Because what happens next at Bramall Lane isn't just about Chris Wilder's tactical decisions or the board's transfer strategy. It's about how we, the supporters, respond to adversity. It's about whether the Steel City spirit that has carried this club through relegations, promotions, financial crises, and championship celebrations can carry us through this unprecedented challenge. Subscribe and hit that notification bell right now, because over the next few weeks, as these stories develop, you're going to want to be part of the conversation that shapes how Sheffield United emerges from this crisis. And comment below after you've heard all 3 stories. I want to know which one shocked you most, which one gives you hope, and which one you think will have the biggest impact on our season. The journey starts now. Blades Army, let's dive into the truth about where Sheffield United really stands in September 2025. Let's start with the news that's going to break the heart of every Blade watching this video. The revelation that will make you question everything about how quickly football fortunes can change, and the statistic that will haunt Sheffield United supporters for years to come. Our Sheffield United has just entered the history books, and not in the way any of us wanted. Not in the way that commemorates great victories or celebrates legendary performances, but in a way that marks us as one of the worst starts to a championship season in the competition's entire existence. 6 defeats, 6 consecutive championship defeats to start the season, 6 matches where we failed to pick up a single point, where we failed to show the fighting spirit that has defined Sheffield United for generations, where we've looked like strangers in our own red and white shirts. When I say historic, I mean we've become only the 4th team in the championship's 20-year existence to lose every single one of their first 6 league matches. Think about that for a moment. In the decades of championship football, with 24 teams competing every season through relegation battles, promotion pushes, financial crises, and managerial changes, only 4 teams have ever started a season this badly. The other three teams were Wycombe Wanderers in 2020-21, Peterborough United in 2012-13, and here's the bitter irony that'll make your stomach turn, Sheffield Wednesday in 2007-8. But here's the detail that's keeping me awake at night, the statistic that should terrify every single blade of those three teams that suffered similar starts. Only our city rivals, the Owls, managed to escape relegation. Only Sheffield Wednesday survived that catastrophic beginning to their campaign. Wycombe and Peterborough both went down. Both saw their seasons end in the disappointment of relegation. Despite having the entire remainder of the campaign to turn things around, the statistics don't lie, and right now they're painting a picture darker than any Steel City winter, bleaker than the worst days of our recent history. We've scored one goal, in 6 championship matches. Let that sink in. 1 goal in 540 minutes of championship football. That's a goal every 9 hours of play. A rate so poor it defies belief from a club with our resources and recent track record. Against Charlton Athletic on Saturday, in what should have been Chris Wilder's triumphant homecoming, we created over a dozen chances, 14 clear opportunities according to the official statistics, and managed to hit the target just once. 1 shot on target from 14 chances created. The conversion rate is so poor it suggests fundamental problems, not just with finishing, but with confidence, composure, and basic decision-making in the final third. Chris Wilder himself, a manager who has always been brutally honest about his team's performances, admitted after the match with the kind of stark clarity that left no room for optimism. The league table doesn't lie at the moment, and we're bottom of the division for a reason. We need to find a way out of this situation as quickly as possible because the statistics don't lie. But the problems go deeper than just goals and points. Our wing-backs, the foundation of Wilder's tactical system, have been completely ineffective going forward. Harrison Burrows, who was instrumental in our previous success, looks like a player who has forgotten how to attack with purpose. Femi Siriki appears overwhelmed by the pressure. These aren't just tactical issues, these are players who have lost the instinctive understanding of their roles that made our system so effective. Ben Godfrey, signed as a Premier League quality defender, struggled against pace for the second consecutive match. A player of his experience and ability should be dominating championship attackers, but instead, he's looking vulnerable to basic attacking moves that our defense should handle comfortably. The entire team looks exhausted, but not physically exhausted, mentally and emotionally drained. There's a weight of expectation and disappointment that's visibly affecting every pass, every tackle, every decision on the pitch. Players are second-guessing themselves, playing with fear rather than freedom, choosing the safe option instead of the creative one. But here's what's really eating at me. What should shake every blade to their core? We're now looking to Sheffield Wednesday for inspiration. The same Wednesday that we've outperformed dramatically in recent years. The same Wednesday that's been in perpetual crisis. While we achieved that record-breaking championship campaign that had us dreaming of automatic promotion. The same Wednesday whose struggles we've watched with a mixture of sympathy and superiority. Now we're studying their 2007-8 relegation escape as a blueprint for our own survival. We're analyzing how they managed to turn around their 6-defeat start and stay in the championship. We're looking for lessons from our city rivals about how to arrest a slide that threatens to define our entire season. How did we get here? How did the Red and White Army, the club that rose from League One to the Premier League under Wilder's guidance, fall so far that we're studying our rivals' relegation escape as a template for our own survival? How did we go from challenging for the Premier League to making unwanted history in the Championship in such a short space of time? The psychological impact of this run extends beyond just the current squad. Young players coming through our academy are seeing their pathway to the first team blocked, not by quality competition, but by a team in crisis. Supporters are questioning not just individual performances, but the entire direction of the club. Local media coverage has shifted from optimistic analysis to damage limitation. What do you think hurts more, the 6 defeats themselves, or having to learn from Wednesday's playbook? What does it say about our current state that our city rivals, who we've looked down on for years, are now our template for survival rather than success? But the harsh truths don't stop there. Blades Army, while we're all caught up in the emotional roller coaster of Chris Wilder's return to Bramall Lane, while we're celebrating the fact that our legendary manager is back where he belongs, there's a reality check that every single supporter needs to hear. Regardless of how uncomfortable it might be, Chris Wilder is many things: a Sheffield United legend, a tactical innovator who transformed our club's fortunes, a manager who understands the DNA of this football club better than almost anyone alive. But he's not a miracle worker, and after approximately 5 days back in charge, perhaps our expectations should have been more measured from the start. Perhaps we expected too much too soon from a manager walking into the most challenging situation of his Sheffield United career. This isn't the same situation Wilder faced when he returned in December 2023 and immediately improved our Premier League performances against top-quality opposition. That was about tactical adjustments and motivational improvements with a squad that still believed in their ability to compete. This isn't even comparable to his 2016 takeover when we bounced back from that Bolton defeat to win League One. That was about building from a foundation of hunger and ambition with players desperate to prove themselves. The problems this time run deeper than tactics or team selection, deeper than formation changes or motivational speeches. They run to the very core of what it means to be a professional footballer representing Sheffield United in 2025. The truth that's emerging from Bramall Lane is uncomfortable, but absolutely necessary for every supporter to understand. Our players aren't just struggling technically, they're psychologically scarred by this unprecedented run of results. And when I use that word scarred, I'm not being dramatic. I'm describing a genuine psychological condition that affects athletes who have experienced repeated failure. Players like Harrison Burrows, who were instrumental in last season's success, appear to have lost that instinct and freedom that made our football so effective and exciting to watch. Wilder admitted something genuinely telling after the Charlton defeat, something that reveals just how much he underestimated the scale of the challenge facing him. I expected more. I expected that we'd have a bit more confidence in our play. Maybe I shouldn't have underestimated the impact of the last 4, 5, 6 games. Even our legendary manager, someone who knows this club inside and out, underestimated the psychological damage that had been inflicted. Think about what that admission means. This is Chris Wilder, a manager who has seen Sheffield United at their lowest points and highest peaks. This is someone who rebuilt the club from League One mediocrity to Premier League football, and even he didn't fully grasp how deep the current problems run. The tactical questions are mounting with every passing match. Are our current personnel suited to Wilder's preferred 3-at-the-back system? With Femi Sariki and Harrison Burrows available, shouldn't we be more solid defensively and more creative going forward? Why are we still vulnerable to simple attacking moves that championship teams shouldn't be able to execute against us with such ease? The evidence suggests that the system that worked so brilliantly in previous campaigns might not be suitable for this group of players in their current mental state. The overlapping wing backs who used to create width and attacking threat now look hesitant and uncertain. The central defenders who used to dominate their areas are making basic positional errors. The midfield that used to control championship matches is being overrun by supposedly inferior opposition. Nathan Jones, Charlton's manager, offered an interesting perspective after beating us. He insisted, without being asked, that United will come good this season because the players are too good and the manager knows how to get results. But when external managers are feeling compelled to offer sympathy and reassurance to Sheffield United, you know the situation has reached a serious level. The strategic challenge facing Wilder isn't just about changing formation or buying new players in January. It's about rebuilding the mental resilience of a squad that has forgotten how to win football matches, forgotten how to compete with the intensity and belief that characterized our best periods under his previous management. There are deeper questions about whether this current squad has the mental fortitude required for Wilder's high-intensity approach. His teams have always been built on work rate, pressing, and an unwavering belief in the system. But what happens when that belief has been eroded by repeated failure? What happens when players start doubting not just the tactics, but their own ability to execute them? The rehabilitation process isn't just about tactical training or fitness work. It's about psychology, about rebuilding confidence at the most basic level. Some of these players need to remember how to make a simple pass under pressure. Others need to rediscover the courage to attempt the attacking runs that used to come naturally. Wilder's previous successes at Sheffield United were built on a foundation of players who believed completely in his methods and their own ability to execute them. This time, He's working with players who have been systematically undermined by failure. The challenge isn't just tactical, it's existential. How long can we afford to wait for this psychological recovery? Especially with other championship teams showing no mercy for our current struggles? How many more defeats can this squad absorb before the damage becomes irreversible? And what does it mean for Wilder's legacy if he can't turn around the club where he achieved his greatest successes? Now, for something that's going to hurt initially, something that will make your blood boil as a Sheffield United supporter, but might actually point toward our salvation if we're smart enough to learn from it. While we struggled to create clear chances against Charlton Athletic, while we huffed and puffed our way to another goalless performance, that left Bramall Lane echoing with frustrated boos. The former Sheffield United favorites were absolutely tearing apart the championship for Hull City. Ole McBurnie and John Lundstrom, the players who know exactly what it means to wear the red and white shirt, both found the net in Hull's commanding 3-1 victory over Southampton, earning places in the championship team of the day and reminding everyone watching what Sheffield United has been missing. Here's the detail that should make every Blade's blood boil, the statistic that perfectly encapsulates our current attacking crisis. Ole McBurnie has already scored 3 goals and provided for assists in just 5 championship appearances for Hull City. 3 goals and 4 assists. Meanwhile, we've managed 1 goal as a team in 6 matches. One player at Hull City has been directly involved in 7 goals, while our entire squad has managed just 1. But before anger takes over completely, before we start ranting about transfer mistakes and lost opportunities, let's step back and examine what this really tells us about our current situation and what it might reveal about the path forward. During Ruben Sell's brief and ultimately unsuccessful tenure as Sheffield United manager, the club actually tried to bring Ole McBurnie back to Bramall Lane. The Scottish striker, who had been a fan favorite during his previous stint, was identified as someone who could solve our goal-scoring problems. The approach made sense. He knew the club, understood the system, and had proven he could score goals in the championship. But McBurnie rejected us. He turned down the chance to return to Sheffield United, along with offers from Ipswich Town and Swansea City, to join Hull City on a free transfer. At the time, many supporters wondered why he would choose Hull over a return to Bramall Lane. Now we know. Why did he reject us? Because players, especially experienced professionals like McBurnie, can sense a sinking ship. They can detect the warning signs of a club in crisis, even when those signs aren't obvious to supporters or media. McBurnie saw something in Hull City's project, something in their training ground atmosphere and tactical setup that he didn't see in ours at that crucial moment. John Lundstrom's success alongside McBurnie proves something crucial about our transfer strategy and player development. These weren't players who suddenly became brilliant after leaving Sheffield United. They weren't individuals who discovered new abilities the moment they walked through Hull City's doors. They were quality footballers who needed the right environment, the right system, and most importantly, the right level of confidence to flourish again. McBurnie's record at Hull City tells a story about what happens when a striker is given proper service, when the team is set up to create chances, when there's belief flowing through the entire squad. His 3 goals haven't come from individual brilliance or lucky deflections. They've come from a team that knows how to create opportunities and a player who has the confidence to take them. Lundstrom's performances reveal something equally important about midfield play and team cohesion. At Hull City, he's playing with the freedom and authority that made him such an important player during our best periods. He's making forward runs, dictating the tempo, showing for the ball in tight areas, all the things that our current midfielders seem reluctant or unable to do. This is actually our roadmap to recovery. Blades. If Chris Wilder can create the same positive environment that's allowing our former players to excel elsewhere, if he can rebuild the confidence and tactical understanding that made these players effective at Sheffield United previously, then we have the foundation to rebuild our own attacking threat. Look at our current attacking options with fresh eyes. Tom Cannon continues to struggle in our system. But is that because he lacks ability or because he's not getting the service and support that would allow him to thrive? Tyrese Campbell hasn't reached his potential in a Sheffield United shirt. But does that reflect his limitations or our inability to create the right conditions for him to succeed? The McBurnie and Lundstrom situation isn't just a painful reminder of what we've lost. It's proof that championship quality players can rediscover their form with the right management. The right system, and most importantly, the right team spirit, is evidence that our current attacking struggles might not be about individual quality, but about creating the collective confidence and tactical cohesion that's making our former players shine elsewhere. What if the problem isn't that we lack good players, but that we've created an environment where good players can't perform to their potential? What if the solution isn't signing new faces in January, but unlocking the ability that already exists within our current squad? The success of McBurney and Lundstrom at Hull City provides a template for what Sheffield United could become. It shows that with the right approach, the right system, and the right mindset, players can quickly rediscover their best form. It proves that the talent exists in the championship. We just need to create the conditions where that talent can flourish. But there's also a warning in their success. Every week that we continue to struggle, every match where we fail to score goals or create chances, makes it harder to convince quality players that Sheffield United is the right place for their careers. Our reputation in the transfer market, our ability to attract the kind of players who can make a difference, depends on showing progress and creating optimism. What does it say about our current state that former players are thriving elsewhere, while current players are struggling at Bramall Lane? And more importantly, what can we learn from their success to rebuild our own attacking threat? So there you have it, Red and White Army. 3 stories that perfectly capture not just where Sheffield United stands in September 2025, but the complex challenges and unexpected opportunities that will define our immediate future. We're making a wanted history with 6 consecutive defeats, joining an exclusive and thoroughly undesirable club where only Sheffield Wednesday managed to avoid relegation. That's not just a statistic, it's a stark reminder of how quickly football fortunes can change and how dangerous our current trajectory really is. We've gone from championship promotion contenders to relegation battlers in a span that defies belief. Our legendary manager faces his biggest challenge yet, dealing with players who are mentally scarred by this unprecedented run of results, trying to rebuild confidence that has been systematically destroyed by repeated failure. Chris Wilder, for all his Sheffield United experience and tactical knowledge, has admitted that he underestimated the psychological damage that had been inflicted. That's not a criticism of Wilder, it's recognition that the problems run deeper than anyone initially realized. And our former stars are thriving elsewhere, showing us exactly what we're missing in terms of goal-scoring threat and midfield creativity, but also demonstrating what's possible when confidence returns and players are given the right environment to succeed. Ole McBurney and John Lundstrom aren't performing miracles at Hull City. They're simply playing with the freedom and belief that has been absent at Bramall Lane. But here's the perspective that every blade needs to understand, the context that transforms these 3 depressing stories into the foundation for hope. This isn't the end of our story. This is the beginning of our comeback narrative. And comeback stories are always more compelling than stories of sustained success. Sheffield Wednesday survived their 6th defeat start in 2007-8. They didn't just survive, they regrouped, rebuilt confidence, and stayed in the championship with room to spare. If our city rivals could do it with their resources, their squad quality, and their level of tactical organization, then Sheffield United, with superior players, better infrastructure, and Chris Wilder's proven track record, can absolutely turn this around. The key is understanding what Wednesday did right during their recovery. They simplified their approach, focused on defensive solidity, and gradually rebuilt confidence through small victories. They didn't try to change everything overnight. They identified their strengths, played to them consistently, and slowly added attacking complexity as confidence returned. The Ole McBurney and John Lundstrom situation isn't a tragedy that we should dwell on with regret. It's a template for what we can achieve with our current players. It shows that quality footballers can rediscover their form with proper management, the right system, and team belief. Our current squad possesses that same quality. It just needs unlocking through the right approach. Think about what we know works. Harrison Bros was outstanding last season when he had confidence. Ben Godfrey is a Premier League defender who can dominate championship attackers when he's playing with belief. Tom Cannon has shown glimpses of real quality when the service has been right. The talent is there. It's the environment and the confidence that need rebuilding. Chris Wilder now understands the scale of the psychological challenge he faces. He won't underestimate the mental side of recovery again. The next few weeks will be crucial, not just in terms of points gained or goals scored, but in terms of rebuilding the basic confidence that allows professional footballers to express their ability. The upcoming fixtures represent genuine opportunities. Oxford United away might seem daunting given our current form, but it's exactly the kind of match where a single good performance can start to change the entire atmosphere around the club. One victory, one clean sheet, one match where everything clicks can begin the process of psychological recovery. But the recovery won't happen overnight, and it won't happen without the support of the Red and White Army. This is where we, the supporters, play a crucial role. Every match we attend, every song we sing, every moment of encouragement we provide could be the difference between a player taking a confident touch or playing a safe pass. The psychological rebuilding isn't just about what happens in training. It's about what happens on match days when 25,000 blades create an atmosphere that lifts the team. This is Sheffield United. This is the club that rose from League One obscurity to Premier League football under this same manager. This is the Red and White Army that has survived relegations, promotions, financial crises, ownership changes, and everything else that football can throw at a club. We've been here before, in different circumstances, but with similar challenges, and we've always found a way to bounce back stronger. The 6 defeats are not our identity. They're our starting point for what could become the greatest comeback story in recent championship history. Every great recovery starts with rock bottom, and we've certainly found ours. The only direction from here is up, and with the right approach, the right mindset, and the right support, Sheffield United can not only survive this crisis, but emerge from it as a stronger, more resilient club. The template for recovery exists. Wednesday showed that 6 defeats don't have to mean relegation. McBurney and Lundstrom showed that quality players can rediscover their form with the right environment. Wilder has shown throughout his career that he can turn around difficult situations when given time and support. What we need now is patience, unity, and unwavering belief that this club will rise again. The Steel City spirit that has carried Sheffield United through more than a century of football history will carry us through this challenge too, but it requires all of us, players, management, board, and supporters to pull in the same direction. If you believe in the Blades, if you want to be part of the recovery journey rather than just a passive observer, subscribe and hit that notification bell. The next few months will define not just this season, but the next chapter of Sheffield United's history. Comment below and tell me which of these 3 stories shocked you most, which one gives you the most hope, and what you think needs to happen for us to turn this around. The comeback starts now, Blades Army. The question isn't whether we can recover, it's how quickly and how dramatically we can transform this crisis into the foundation for future success. Are you ready to be part of the greatest Sheffield United comeback story ever told?